Thank you, Chris. New Mexico is getting ready to implement the Affordable Care Act. It is better known as Obamacare. The big question with this is, how is it going to affect all of us? You've heard politicians talk about it. You've heard some healthcare companies talk about it. But it means a lot of different things for a lot of different people. So News 13's Samantha McDonald went to Santa Fe to the Insurance Commissioner of New Mexico. She is going to have the answer coming up in about a half hour. But so what we know right now is these changes in health care are going to affect everyone. You will be required by law to get a health insurance policy. Most of us will be. And you'll need to know what is being offered there. Now, because of the information being released by the Kaiser Family Foundation that happened late last week, early this week, you can see the estimated cost of insurance in our state are actually quite good compared to other ones. These new policies will be available to anyone regardless of their health. You won't have to pay a surcharge for pre-existing medical conditions. You also can buy a new policy on your own, or your employer can decide to buy a group policy. It'll give them a tax break, and you won't have to pay as much. Also, if you're on Medicare, Obamacare will not affect you, we are told. It is just for people who are younger than 65. Now, New Mexico's Superintendent of Insurance, John Franchini, says the health insurance rates here are reasonable. For example, a single 40-year-old person who does not smoke could cover 70% of healthcare costs for $212 a month. Mr. Franchini says roughly 25% of New Mexico folks have not had health insurance before, so he says the Affordable Health Care Act, or Obamacare, could actually be a positive change for them.
Smokers are going to pay more, but everyone else is going to be paying the same amount of money in the exchange or outside of the exchange. So that's a very important aspect, that everyone's going to be treated equally under the Affordable Care Act.
All right, there you go. So this may not actually increase your health care costs, as you've heard some people say. You can start applying for health insurance policies on the 1st of next month. You can do it online. Visit the website of the Office of Superintendent of Insurance. Click on Healthcare Reform Rate. And we'll have more on this coming up. By the way, all the policies will be activated on January 1st. You could still apply for a new policy after that. We're going to get more details from Samantha McDonald coming up, in about an hour or so. Speaking of insurance, do you need dental care but you can't afford it? Here's a story that could really put a smile on your face. New Mexico Mission of Mercy will be in San Juan County tomorrow and Saturday providing free dental services. This is happening at McGee Park in Farmington. The doors open bright and early at 5 a.m. It's on a first-come, first-served basis. You can start lining up this afternoon at 4 o'clock. A lot of people are going to be doing that, so please expect long lines and long waits. Well, eating a good breakfast to help you keep the pounds off is apparently a myth. A report in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition says skipping breakfast has little or no effect on weight gain. The article cites a study by Vanderbilt University in 1992 indicating drastic eating habits change how people lose weight. Researchers say that study was overshadowed by others linking obesity and breakfast, but it turns out the latest data indicates that there is no link. Well, UNM's leaders may be asking themselves this morning, where is the love? The U.S. News and World Report annual college rankings are out. Has UNM tied for 181st. Now, among the top public universities for each state, New Mexico is tied for 47th. Not good numbers. UNM's provost, Chowki Abdullah, questions some of the factors used in these rankings. He says it focuses too much on admission standards and not enough on the amount of students' progress. However, Mr. Abdullah agrees UNM does have a way to improve. The school's 6-year graduation rate is less than 50%, and nearly a third of incoming freshmen need remedial courses. But as Samantha McDonald showed you last week, UNM is offering summer catch-up courses for those students, and they're quite successful.
For next year, if someone has 17 ACT, we will actually make them go through that early start program so that they start in the fall ready to do college work.
New Mexico State didn't do any better in the rankings either. It tied for 190th place. One school here in New Mexico is canceling the rest of its varsity high school football season. Loving High School in the southeastern part of the state got trounced by Hagerman 51-0 Friday night. Worse, 4 students got hurt during that game. Loving's head football coach says half the players on the team are freshmen. There are only 22 total, and he simply doesn't feel comfortable sacrificing their safety for what amounts to just a football game.
You look back to see what we would have to put in to replace them. Now we're getting into the pool of freshmen that have no experiences as varsity players, let alone high school players.
So now the team will play at the JV level for the rest of the year. The New Mexico Activities Association will decide whether the unplayed games will be considered as forfeit. Tough, no doubt. Hopefully the team improves and the coach can start building it from here. Well, flags remain at half-staff in New Mexico today by order of the governor, all in honor of fallen firefighter Token Adams, who will be remembered at services later today. Remember, he disappeared back on August 30th in the Jemez Mountains. His body was found 8 days later. It was last Friday near his ATV, which investigators think fell back on him as he was climbing up a steep hill. Services for Mr. Adams are today at 10 o'clock this morning at Calvary Chapel at 4001 Osuna Road in Albuquerque. A donation fund has been set up to help the pregnant wife and young son Adams leaves behind. You can do that at any Wells Fargo bank. Just ask for the Token Adams Memorial Fund. He was 41 years old.